So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on. I don't know where to start. That Trump fest. What in the world? What in the world, y'all? It's so embarrassing. If they're not embarrassed, I'm embarrassed for them. I remember 50 years ago when the bicentennial was happening and how festive everybody was and celebration and stuff. I was a teenager at the time and I didn't know much. I wasn't pretending that I knew much. But early on, I figured some things out. So now here we are, 50 years later, and it's been 250 years of this nation that's not even as old as Birkenstock shoes or Birkenstock footwear, I should say. 250 years. And this is the best they can do. This is the best they can do. So that by itself is kind of embarrassing. I know they feel like they've accomplished a lot and they've invented this and invented that and came up with enlightenment and all that nonsense. But still, with all of that they've created, so to speak, this the best y'all can do? Just a handful of people in the world get to experience immense wealth and everybody else has got to suffer and struggle and try to survive. And with as much as they have, and they got enough, they have enough. Still, all of that is not enough. It's never gonna be enough. It'll never be enough. Poor people can be their desire for things and basic stuff that they need to survive. They could be satisfied, but the people with the most cannot be satisfied. And things are just going to get increasingly worse, exponentially worse. I don't know when the revolution is going to start. I feel like as long as people can be paid to do vile and evil things, that means evicting people from their homes, being mean and nasty to poor people, being mean and nasty to those who are less fortunate. Yeah. So it's kind of a sad commentary overall. It's a sad commentary. And I know there are people who are going to toot the horn. Oh, we so great. Oh, we so great. I love this country. This is the best place to be in the world. I beg to differ. If you think this is the best place, that means one thing. It could only mean one thing, that you have not been anywhere else. That's all to it. You have not been anywhere else, so you haven't experienced other things in the world. The way the US do things is not the right way necessarily. Other places do things much better than they do. I'd like to think that in other countries, their educational system is not failing young people to the extent that they are failing in the US. It's never been the US's intention to educate black people. I know that for a fact. But because I grew up when I did in the 60s and the 70s, I got a good education, decent. But the thing is, it's just not about going to school and learning what it is they say you need to learn. It's learning stuff when you outside of school. That's extending your intellect and your knowledge. But people just put all the blame on the educational system. And now, when I look at these teachers who are leaving and they're talking about how the children cannot read, and it's real embarrassing having watching those, they're teenagers, they look to be anywhere from 16, 17, 18, and they're asked to read a sentence. It's basically a sentence, a simple sentence. It's a simple sentence at that, and they can't pronounce the words, and even worse, they can't tell you what it means. In other words, tell, what does this mean in other words? Don't say this, don't use the same words to tell me what it means. It's called reading comprehension, but I don't guess they taught that in schools lately. And of course, the No Child Left Behind. Who came up with that? Was that the Clintons? No Child Left Behind means that you promote a child even when their grades and their skills are not up to par. Just push them along. When I was in school, the worst thing you wanted was to get left back. So we worked at it. I remember struggling, trying to concentrate, but I made myself do it. I made myself do it because that was the only way I was going to learn and retain information. But it's sad. It's a sad commentary to see those kids not being able to read and don't know basic stuff. That a dozen is 12 and a half dozen is 6, and that the US is North America. All type of things that they don't know, basic stuff. I remember learning social studies, geography, the continents and different places. And it seemed like they were more interested in us learning, in people, children learning back in the 60s and the 70s. So I imagine it must have started falling apart in the 80s and the 90s, because here we are. And when you see the I guess you can call them young adults, they're standing there and they're laughing at it. They think it's so funny that they can't read. Oh, what is this? I can't read. What that mean? And then you can tell the way they speak that they just uneducated. That is just, it's very cringe to listen to them speak. You know. So yeah, it's pretty bad. So I don't see what there is to celebrate after 250 years of this. And you've seen what's happened. I don't have to tell any lies. I don't have to make up anything. If you have a mind that can think critically, you know what's going on. And if you try and pretend that it's all good, well, then you're one of those people that lie to yourselves to make you feel better about things. I don't have to tell any lies about the history of the United States, because its history speaks for itself, and overall is not good.